What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, I'm going to show you the best raid builds that you should build to defeat the upcoming 7-star Grass Terra Hisuian DECIDUEYE coming to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is going to be an interesting raid, but we have a lot of different strategies and builds that you can use to easily defeat this and even farm this to your heart's content. And of course, guys, like this type of content, enjoy this video. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam by hitting that join channel member button below. So let's begin with all of the facts. So we know it's Terra Grass, and we know it will have its hidden ability, Scrappy. All 7 stars always have their hidden ability. If you don't know what Scrappy does, it allows a normal type move or a fighting type move to hit ghost type Pokemon. So it is a fighting type Pokemon, normally grass fighting. So yes, it will have a fighting type move that will hit your ghost. So don't try to beat it by using a ghost type necessarily. So looking at the stats here, DECIDUEYE, pretty decent with a physical attacker. 112 is pretty good. 88 HP is good bulk paired with 95 special defense, but its lower defensive stat is physical defense, meaning we should probably try to hit it on the physical side. That may be easier. Of course, you know, Screech users have a harder time out here than Acid Spray and Fake Tears users. So special defense is always easier for us to target, but if we can, we want to target that physical defense. Now, it also has 95 special attack, so it might have special attacking moves, but it might not, honestly. And I'm not really afraid of any special attacking moves that this DECIDUEYE will have because it has a pretty good physical moveset. Now, 60 speed is really good because we're going to be able to outspeed it with nearly any Pokemon that we use in this upcoming raid build guide. So we can always go before it, which is going to be really nice to have that nice speed control going on here. Now, looking at the moveset, I do think there's a few moves that are going to be absolute locks. And I think the physical moveset is going to be a lock-in to me. Triple Arrows is the signature move of Hisuian DECIDUEYE, is a 90 physical damaging fighting move. And this move has a 50% chance of lowering your physical defense by 1. That's really annoying. And it also increases the user's critical hit ratio for 3 turns. This move is actually pretty insane. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually does this turn 1 just to get essentially a 3-turn focus energy off and a chance at lowering your physical defense. That's going to be pretty crazy. And for its grass type move, I think it's going to have Leaf Blade. Now, Leaf Blade is a terrifying move because it already has a high crit chance. And if it uses triple arrows and it gets that crit chance boost, it's going to have a 50% chance of actually critting us with Leaf Blade. That's going to be really insane, and we're going to have to worry about that a lot. And it's stab and it's Terra boosted. So resisting grass types is probably the most important thing that you could bring to this raid, especially for your supporters, so they have that sustain so they can help out your attackers out. Now, looking at its coverage, I think it could have Knockoff. Knockoff is an egg move that it learns, and it's honestly a really good move because we're always going to have items. So this move is going to probably remove any items we have on turn 1, which is going to definitely hurt a lot of our general plans. But, you know, if it doesn't have that, we'll be okay. But if it does have that, well, it'll make some more strategies a little bit difficult. But the damage output once you already lose your item isn't that high. So Knockoff's like really good on the first time it uses on you, essentially. Then Brave Bird is something that actually regular DECIDUEYE had during its raid series. I can see it have Brave Bird. I mean, it's one of the strongest attack that Hisuian DECIDUEYE learns in general. So that would make a lot of sense. We can see it come back, and they don't take a lot of recoil damage either. So I could definitely see this coming back. Now, for setup moves, it does learn Bulk Up by Level Up and by TM. So Bulk Up is probably a lock-in here to increase its physical attack and defense, which could be problematic. If it does have Bulk Up, then special attackers will probably be the better choice. I could see it use Bulk Up on turn 0 before the raid starts as well. It also gets Swords Dance as a TM. That would be pretty scary, especially with high crit attacks and +2. That could definitely be problematic. And then the last move it could have, because it is Grass Terra, it could use grassy terrain to further boost the damage of its grass type attacks like a Leaf Blade. But I think in general that this is a raid that we can easily handle, and of course, it's going to be nowhere as hard as something like Mewtwo was. Now, let's begin with our physical attackers, and I'm going to say Blaze Breed Tauros is actually a really solid pick here. Of course, we're going to go with the Terrifier and Shell Bell. So one, we do resist grass, which is pretty nice, and we have pretty good defensive bulk in general. And we're going to go max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature with the ability Anger Point. Because Hisuian DECIDUEYE is going to crit us a lot with triple arrows into Leaf Blade. If it does hit us with a crit, that increases our attack to +6, maximizing our attack. So it's essentially going to set up on us, which is going to be really great. Now, a couple of great moves. Tail Whip lowers the defense by 1, obviously. That's going to be a little bit helpful. Raging Bull is going to be a fire type move if you didn't know that. It also goes to Reflect and Light Screen. This is going to be our main damaging move. And of course, Sunny Day to further increase the damage of our fire type attack. So if we have like Sunny Day up, we're +6 attack, and we have Raging Bull, we're just going to do a ton of damage, especially if we ever got some tail whips off. So do not sleep on this Pokemon, and Shell Bell is going to give us that great sustain in the raid. Now, another great choice is going to be Galarian Zapdos. Now, Galarian Zapdos, flying, is going to resist the grass and the fighting, so you're going to resist both of the main stabs, and we're going to have Shell Bell on this. Now, I'll say the Terra type should be flying on this Zapdos, so keep in mind, this should be a Terra flying Zapdos. And what you're going to do is max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature, and we have the ability Defiant. Now, Defiant is a great ability because whenever our stats get lowered by an opposing Pokemon, our physical attack will go up by 2. So if triple arrows hits us, and we get that 50% defense drop on us, we get -1 defense but +2 attack, and we can definitely use that to our advantage. And our main move is going to be Drill Peck for damage, which is going to be really great. We can set up with Bulk Up to increase our physical attack and defense as well. And we also have Thunderous Kick. Thunderous Kick is going to be pretty solid because it's not going to be super effective, but it is going to lower the physical defense of the Decidueye by 1, which is going to be really good, and it goes through shields as well. So this is going to be really nice that you can set up on the Decidueye by just doing a damaging move. You can also have Focus Energy to increase your crit hit rate if you want to try to go for that, but it's sort of like we don't really have a good fourth move there. Now, another pretty decent option is going to be Scizor here, and I would actually recommend probably putting a Shell Bell on the Scizor because we want that HP sustain in general. If you are running with other big raid groups, then you could do like Life Orb. But we're going to go Scizor with Terra Bug. And Scizor is a phenomenal Pokemon. Max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. And we're going to have Technician. Now, Technician boosts the damage of any moves that are 60 power or below. And it actually makes Bug Bite the best bug type move that Scizor can use. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal of a move. So we can like Swords Dance up, use Bug Bite, get the Technician boost on it, and do tons of damage. Stab, super effective damage, and then we can Terra and do crazy amounts of damage to the Decidueye. And the good news is we 4 times resist grass because we are a bug and a steel type, and we are neutral to fighting. So Scizor is actually a pretty solid option on the defensive typing there. Focus Energy to increase the crit hit rate if you want to deal with that. But another decent option is actually Fury Cutter. If you kept on using Fury Cutter over and over and over again, it's gonna do so much damage. So you could go for the Fury Cutter route after doing a couple of Swords Dance. However, if you do miss one Fury Cutter, then your stacks will reset. But eventually Fury Cutter will do more damage than Bug Bite. But I mean, I prefer Bug Bite in general on Scizor, but I think the Fury Cutter is another good option. Now, let's talk about Ogerpon, a brand new Pokemon that you can use for this raid. What I like about Ogerpon is, yeah, you lose its item slot to Heart Flame Max, because we didn't use the Fire type one. The reason why you're using the Fire type one is, well, we get a awesome stab super effective fire move that has a high crit rate, but we also resist grass because of that, so we only have to worry about getting hit by fighting type moves for the most part. And if you didn't know, this mask actually acts as a 1.2 times boost to all our damaging moves, which is pretty cool. We're going to go max HP, max attack, Adamant Nature. Mold Breaker doesn't really matter for us here, but Ivy Crudgel is actually going to end up being a fire type attack because we are wearing the fire mask. So this is a stab, super effective, high crit chance, fire type move, which is going to be really good. We also have Swords Dance, so we can set up, which is great. We have Horn Leech, which is going to allow us to get that HP back. So even though we don't have Shell Bell, Horn Leech is going to do a lot of damage, especially after a Swords Dance. Now, Focus Energy is actually incredibly good here because with Ivy Cudgel, this is already a 12% chance of critting. With one Focus Energy up, we now have a 50% chance of critting. So Ogerpon is actually going to be absolutely phenomenal here with be able to crit half the time. So I would highly recommend this Pokemon too. Now, another phenomenal Pokemon that you can actually use an attacker and a supporter. We'll get to the support build in a moment. But Corviknight is actually a really good Pokemon and it may be able to actually solo as well. So max HP, max attack, adamant nature. We are incredibly bulky on the physical defense and the HP bulk in general. And we're going to have the ability Mirror Armor. So whenever our stats get dropped or they attempt to drop them, it gets sent back to the opponent. So if we get our defense dropped, that defense drop is going to be hit onto the Decidueye. So that's going to be really helpful for us to have. And we also 4 times resist grass. So it's going to go for those triple arrows for us. A much higher chance of that because they always try to use a move that does the most damage. So that Mirror Armor is going to be proccing off, giving us free defense drops. Now we're going to go for Stab Super Effective Drill Packs. We have Screech, so we can try to lower that defense. Bulk Up to try to set up our attack and our defense. We don't have Swords Dance, so this is our best way to increase our stats in general. And last move of Reflect is pretty decent. Of course, if it does crit, it's going to go for Reflect, so keep that in mind as well. You can also put Hone Claws here if you want to increase your accuracy, so Screech has a better time of hitting. Now, another phenomenal Pokemon that might be able to actually solo is going to be Surulege. And Surulege with Metronome is going to be really cracked. And we're going to go with that Terra Fire, of course. And we're going to go max HP, max attack, adamant nature with Flash Fire. Doesn't really matter what your ability is here. I mean, technically, if you're raiding online, you can have someone proc your Flash Fire, hitting you with a fire type move to make your Bitter Blades do even more damage. But this is actually a really strong move set. Clear Smog is going to remove all the stat changes. So if it like buff itself like a Swords Dance or a Bulk Up, you can just Clear Smog it. You have Swords Dance to increase your physical attack by 2. Leer to drop the defense. I don't think it'll be leering a lot, but you know, it's an option. But Bitter Blade is going to be your big damaging move. 90 damage physical fire type attack move that's going to give you back 50% of your HP. So what I would recommend with this is probably use Swords Dance like 2 or 3 times and then start spamming Bitter Blades. And because we have the item Metronome, it's going to further increase the damage because we're going to keep using this attack over and over again in a row. So it's going to give us more stacks and it's just going to do tons and tons of damage. I think this Pokemon has a good chance of soloing just because of the nature of Bitter Blade and the item Metronome. Now, of course, Annihilate exists, and I do think Annihilate is going to be a phenomenal Pokemon in this raid no matter what because it doesn't really have anything that is afraid about from the Decidueye. Shell Bell, of course, goes Terra, max HP, max attack, adamant nature. Once again, Defiant comes in play here. If it drops our defense, because it does have Scrappy, it can't hit us with triple arrows. Drops our defense, oh well, we have +2 attack now. And whenever we get hit, Rage Fist goes up by 50 damage and caps at 300. Even if we faint, come back, Rage Fist 300, big damage. And then Screech is going to be our move that we just used to just lower that defense. So maybe start to raid off of a couple of Screeches. Don't be afraid of fainting because when you come back, you'll be even stronger and that defense will be dropped onto the Decidueye. And that's all our physical attackers. Now special attackers, and I will say we have a lot less options with special attackers, but they're still really strong. And they do have acid spray support with the supporter, so definitely check these out. So number 1 is gonna be Iron Moth. Iron Moth 4 times resist grass, which is great, and you resist fighting. It doesn't have the best physical defense, but because you have those resistances, you should be a-okay for the most part. And we're gonna use the item Shell Bell, and I prefer Terra Poison here, as Poison is gonna resist both the fighting moves and the grass moves coming in overall. So we're gonna go max HP, max special attack, modest nature. And we're going to go with Fiery Dance, which is actually a really good move. This has I believe, a 50% chance of increasing our special attack stat by 1. Acid Spray, Stab Acid Spray, which will go through shields, will lower the special defense by 2, which is absolutely great. And then Sludge Wave is going to be our main damage dealing move. But if you get into a situation, you can also put on like Overheat. If you want to run Terra Fire, you could run Overheat. And this is going to be like your tactical nuke in the bag. But the only big issue of Iron Moth is we don't have Calm Mind and we don't have any good setup moves. But it is a phenomenal Pokemon in general, and I do highly recommend it. Now, next up for a special attacker is Mew. Mew with Shell Bell and with Terra Bug. This is actually pretty much the same Mew that I use in the Mewtwo raids with max HP, max special attack. Really good moveset because it has Nasty Plot and Acid Spray, so +2 special attack and lowering that special defense by 2. And then Stab, super effective Bug Buzz when we are Terra Bug, which is going to be great. And Terra Bug is fantastic here because you are going to resist fighting and grass with this. So defensively is awesome. And then you can use some Mud Slap memes, you know. You can Mud Slap it, lower the accuracy, and just help everyone else out in the raid. I think Mud Slap's a really underrated move in general. Now, another decent Pokemon is actually going to be Monkey Dory, which is a brand new Teal Mask Pokemon. Monkey Dory is pretty solid overall. It's poison and psychic, so you quad resist on the fighting, and then you resist the grass. You don't have the best physical defense, so I wouldn't say I totally recommend it, but if you want to try something new, Monkey Dory's there. We have Shell Bell, max HP, max special attack, modest nature. Toxic Chain means you have a good chance of poisoning it with any of your attacks. And you have once again have the godlike combo of Nasty Plot and Acid Spray, which is absolutely awesome. And then you have Stab, super effective Sludge Waves. And then, you know, you just have a 4th move. Doesn't really matter what you put because you're just going to be spamming Sludge Wave. You can put another poison type move if you want here. But I would say Iron Moth over Monkey Dory, you had to pick between the two. And then for our next special attacker, I'm going to pick Bug type Arceus for the same reason that we picked Mew. Arceus with Bug type is super good. You resist the fighting. You're going to resist the grass. Insect Tape is going to give us a 1.2 boost to our Bug type moves. And we're going to have the move Judgment, which is going to become a special 100 special attacking Bug type move, which is great. We're going to go max HP, max special attack, modest nature. And Judgment's phenomenal. We have Acid Spray as well. Calm Mind is our only buffing move for our stats for special. So, I mean, this could be worse. You know, I mean, it could be better, I guess, too, but it's decent. I wish it was Nasty Plot, of course. And then Recover is just going to be a nice recovery move so you can save up on your healing cheer. And now for our supporters. And Corviknight is going to be our best supporter for physical attackers. And you can change this Terra type to Terra Flying if you want to. Doesn't really matter because you're not going to be doing too much damage. I'm just reusing an old one. You want to have the item Wide Lens. And you're going to have max HP, max defense with a nature that's plus defense and minus special attack. And the reason why you want Wide Lens is so your Screeches will have a higher chance of actually hitting, which is going to be making it a 94% accurate move. So it's going to be a lot more reliable. You're going to have Taunt, so you can prevent the Decidueye from setting up any more bulk ups or Swords Dances or Grassy Terrains, whatever it wants to do. Reflect to give everyone else a general defense boost, which is going to be really nice. And then Drill Peck for damage. Corviknight's going to be an absolute beast as a defender as you 4 times resist grass. So you only got to worry about the fighting type moves. And if you go do Terra Flying, then you're just going to resist both of them equally, which is going to be great. Now, Overquill may be the secret raid supporter of this raid. I have a lot of faith in Overquill here. Overquill, you can go Terra Poison on with the item Covert Cloak. This will protect it from additional effects of moves. Pretty much we're sort of afraid because fighting type moves are neutral here. So we don't want those defense drops coming in because if it crits us with Leaf Blades, it's not going to be too great. So we don't really want that. So Covert Cloak to just give us extra protection in this case. And we're going to be running max HP, max defense with I believe a relaxed nature, which is plus defense minus speed. We don't really care about speed. We do want to have that special attack decent as well. And just in case that's SpDef. So we don't really need speed in general. So our ability is going to be Intimidate, which is going to be great. So immediately when we start the raid, the Decidueye is going to be at -1 attack. So that's going to be phenomenal. And whenever we faint and come back, -1 attack, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Now, we're going to be great for special attacking Pokemon. We're going to have Acid Spray, which is going to go through shields, -2 special defense. We love to see that. Chilling Water, which goes through shields, will lower the physical attack by 1. So we're just going to lower that special defense and then neuter that damage with Chilling Water and just absolutely make the Decidueye a non-existent threat. Now, Acupressure is a phenomenal move as well. You can use this on one of your allies. So maybe let's say you have Iron Moth with you, right? Use Acupressure on it. There's going to be one of the stats are going to get a sharply boosted boost. So its physical attack can get boosted by 2. Its special attack can be boosted by 2. Its evasion be boosted by 2. Pretty much, you're looking for special attack or defense for the most part in this raid, or physical attack depending on the Pokemon. But hey, may RNG be in your favor. this is a great move to use just to help out someone. And then for our damaging move, we can use Bar Barrage. It's going to be stab super effective, has a good chance of poisoning a target, and then it does double damage if they're already poisoned. So this does 120 damage. But stab, super effective 120 damage move. I think that's pretty solid overall. And for another supporter, Galarian Wheezing is going to be pretty damn good too. And you can run Shell Bell on this. You can run Covert Cloak as well. I will say this. Poison Fairy, great typing. 4 times resist fighting. And you're going to resist grass. Phenomenal. And we're going to go with Terra Fairy. So we're going to go max HP, max defense, bold nature. And the ability is going to be neutralizing gas. So this is actually going to remove Scrappy off of this Decidueye. So if you wanted to run maybe something like a Chandelure or something like that, where I wouldn't normally recommend because, you know, they're going to be hit by these fighting type moves and don't have the best defense, like Chandelure. If you use neutralizing gas, Scrappy is gone, and then something like Chandelure becomes a way better Pokemon. So this is a great ability, just depending on your team comp. And some Pokemon don't necessarily care about losing their ability as well. So it's really solid overall. Acid Spray, phenomenal. Stab, super effective Acid Spray going through shields. You have Clear Smog, so you know, if it sets up a lot on turn 1, just go through this, you know, just use it, remove those stats. Stream Steam is going to be pretty decent. Has a chance of confusing the target, which is always good. You know, hurts itself, but mostly it makes it so the opponent doesn't actually hit you because if it hits itself. And then we have Taunt to prevent any sort of setup. So pretty solid overall. Like maybe start the fight with like a Taunt and then a Clear Smog and then just spam Acid Sprays. And then when you're done with Acid Sprays, just spam Strange Steam and Terra Fairy if you want to do more damage, up to you. Now, for our last supporter, I'm going to recommend Mew, Bug Terra Mew. You can do Shell Bell as well. We're going to go max HP, max defense, bold nature. And this is very similar to the Mew that we use for Mewtwo. Pollen Puff is going to be our best damaging move, but it also allows us to do a 50% heal to our ally. So it's a beautiful move. Taunt to prevent any setups. Acid Spray to go through that special defense. It also boosts, you know, your own damage as well, but helps out your allies who do special attacking moves. And then Mud Slap for the memes, you know, get the accuracy drops. And like I said, I think Mud Slap is a highly underrated move currently in raids. But there we have it, guys. That is all the builds I recommend for this raid. I definitely recommend building at least 2 to 3 in each category, so you have a lot of options for this raid. But we're going to have more videos on this topic. We're going to have a 1-turn KO, which I already figured out. We are going to have solo builds, which I've already figured out a couple of them, and more. And of course, guys, like this type of content, enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a good one.